kind of things could a software tester or a tester do? Or how should we be discovering these kind of risks?
Yeah, and I think if people know me for a while, they hear me bang on about this all the time, probably to my own detriment. But I think the primary thing, and this is a kind of tangentially answering your question, is that testers are in the risk management business, right? We're not in the system functionality confirmation business. It's really testing. We test to find things out, to learn things, and that's really what your role is. And I think maybe it's what's the George Carlin quote? Inside every cynic is a disappointed idealist. I think as I get older and do this business, I used to say your test approach, can introduce risk into your business, and probably more likely it's, thinking about that, the approach you take to testing actually does always introduce risk to the business. And what I mean by that is there's going to be gaps in coverage. We always know this, the kind of the impossibility of complete coverage. There's going to be gaps. Right, your approach to how you do it is going to be based on a lot of constraints, right? Whether you acknowledge them or not, technological constraints, skills constraints, all this kind of time, all these things are going to factor for you to make decisions that actually introduce risk to the business, because we're creating either known unknowns or things that we don't know yet. And that's sometimes I rail against this idea of this false sense of confidence, where people think, oh, well, we test to gain confidence. And in reality, I tend to look more at the things that we haven't done, which try and reduce my confidence in that. And I think if I could give advice to people on that, like what are your common blind spots, is that people in testing don't recognize that's what their job is. And your job is to understand and be able to articulate, what those risks are and what we're doing that are creating risks, aside from the kind of vast, blackness that is risk management in terms of trying to figure out what might happen. We know the things that we did already, and those are going to introduce risks. And that's a great place to start.